Hey guys, I'm your theater usher, and this evening I have an erotic thriller for you. So sit back, relax, and grab a bag of one of America's favorite movie snacks. This review is on 1994's Possessed by the Night. Filmed in Los Angeles, California, Possessed by the Night was directed and co written by Emmy Award winning film director, producer, and screenwriter of more than 200 budget feature films, Fred Olen Ray. This is a B film that was released on May 25th of 1994 for the VHS. It stars Shannon Tweed, Sendal Bergman, Ted Pryor, Chad McQueen, Frank Severo, and Henry Silva. There are several subplots filled with rage, passion, and violence revolving around a mind manipulating Cyclops brain in a jar that turns good into evil and awakens sexual instincts. The story starts out in Chinatown, where actor Chad McQueen, who plays a thug named Gus, has just arrived to collect the debt from Mr. Wong. After some small talk, Gus quickly gets physical with Mr. Wong, demanding that Wong pay the money he owes to his loan shark boss.
Cut the shit, Wong. I'm here to collect the money you owe.
In this next shot, we're introduced to what most have called a mutant embryo, and we get to see the effects it has on those who gaze into its eye for the first time. Normally, rage is invoked inside of those who appear to be good people, but the opposite effect happens here, as it makes Gus take it easy on Wong and give him more time to pay his debt.
I think I'll let you slide for a few days.
In my opinion, this movie did an outstanding job at making this thing seem fearsome and more than just a disembodied brain in a jar. In this next shot, we once again get to see the effects of our mutant villain as a group of friendly returning customers drop by Wong's and instantly lose themselves in its evil gaze.
My girlfriend really liked the necklace I got from you. Got any more stuff? Can I see?
Sure, if you help me carry it inside. You must handle it very carefully. Maybe I should carry it inside.
Fuck off, old man. Fuck off. Yeah.
Seeing Wong get bullied, Gus decides to step in, and thus we have a 90s fight scene on our hands, and one that ends with Gus taking out the trash.
Why don't you guys take a hike before someone gets hurt?
You're the one taking the hike, asshole.
I don't know what happened there. Very nice boy.
During the opening credits, we're treated with music masterfully made by Emmy-nominated composer Chuck Sereno. After the opening credits, we're introduced to our leading actor, Howard Hansen, a novelist played by Ted Pryor, who's soon paid a visit by Murray, the sleazy publisher, who takes every chance he gets to ogle at Howard's wife, Peggy.
Honey, it's Murray.
We're made aware that Murray has been breathing down Howard's neck to get him to finish his novel faster, and the reason for him doing so is that Murray is also in deep with the same loan shark as Mr. Wong.
I'm never gonna get this novel done with you breathing down my neck.
What breathing? I just wanted to see how you were doing.
You've called me every day for the last week.
After constant badgering from Murray, Howard eventually agrees to leave the house and go in search of inspiration.
You need inspiration.
No, Howard. Maybe what you need to do is go someplace. You know what I mean. Get out of here and see something new. It gives you a fresh outlook.
When we catch up with Gus, we see him pulling up to his boss, Scott Lindsay's place, played by Henry Silva. Scott Lindsay, our loan shark, wants Gus to go and pay a visit to Murray the publisher to teach him a lesson, even though Murray still has time to pay back what he owes and has never been late before.
Tomorrow morning, I want you to pay a little visit to Murray.
I want you to make him aware that his due date is around the corner. And I want you to teach him a lesson, okay?
I would just like to take a moment and say that at the time that I began working on this project, Mr. Silva was still with us, and I enjoyed doing research on him and his body of work, and was saddened to hear of his passing when I got around to finishing this video. Thank you for your contribution to cinema, and may you rest well.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. I love bimbos.
Per Murray's request, Howard goes in search of inspiration to help him finish his book and comes across Mr. Wong's shop. Now here's where things get confusing, because we learn from eavesdropping that Mr. Wong has broken his leg while going to dispose of the brain, and his son has temporarily stepped in to run the shop. We know Wong is his father, but he keeps referring to the woman on the phone as Mom, which prompts the question, who is this mystery woman seen with Wong earlier and is now in the shop? We see her many times throughout the movie, and she's somehow tied to this brain, but I haven't figured it out yet. I would have loved to see a sequel that gave more backstory on the creepy old lady in the brain, or at least a book. Although Wong's son knows his father doesn't want anyone else to come in contact with the brain and suffer the same misfortune that befell him, but his mind is easily swayed by a few bucks from our leading actor.
Tell you what. How about you sell it to me and you can tell him you tossed it?
No. Come on, sir, I'd love to sell it to you. I really would.
Don't let me stop you.
Maybe you won't miss it for a while. I'll write your receipt.
Thanks.
Later that night, after bringing the brain home, it causes Howard to do something that lands him on the couch for the night. And if you'd like to see what exactly landed him on the couch that night, consider subscribing to my Patreon, where you'll have access to longer, uncut videos of the ones I have up here on YouTube. Upon waking up the next morning, Peggy realizes that she did not sleep alone. Peggy immediately runs downstairs and accuses her husband of placing a mutant in bed with her, but Howard doesn't have a clue to what she's talking about.
You are a bastard.
What?
You scared me half out of my mind.
What did I do?
Peggy pushes Howard up the stairs to their bedroom to prove to him that the mutant is in their bed, but when they get there, it's gone.
Then follow me. Come on. It was there. I swear it.
Next we catch up with Gus, who's showing up to berate Maury in his own office, and despite Maury being such a sleazeball, you can't help but feel bad for him in this scene.
Gus, baby, what's happening?
What's happening?
I never walked on you before, have I?
You've never been in this deep before. I keep having these fucking nightmares that your meal ticket's gonna get writer's cramp.
He's right on schedule, I swear it. I'm turning in the manuscript next week and you'll get your money.
Good. Because I'd hate to tell Howard Hanson that you've been ripping him off for the last 8 years. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? I mean, you think I like coming here like this? Take it easy, Chief.
Yeah, take it easy.
To get Howard to finish his book even faster, Murray shows up unannounced with a new assistant for him. And here's where we meet Carol McKay for the first time, played by Shannon Tweed.
Hey, long time no see. Carol McKay, I'd like you to be the world's greatest writer, Howard Hanson.
Nice to meet you.
I want you to meet your new secretary.
What?
Howard then has to have a word with him alone, because he's now had it with Murray's constant badgering.
Could we step into the kitchen for a second, please?
Huh? We'll be right
There
back.
was a time when I actually liked you, but right now, I don't.
You're even starting to get on my nerves.
But Murray doesn't stop there. He also suggests that Carol lives with Howard and stays upstairs in his office until the book is completed.
She can't sleep upstairs in your office.
You want her to stay here?
Look at Howard. This could be a major turning point in your career.
And Howard actually agrees to this because no one's wife would have any issues with this being left home alone with their husband. Carol doesn't waste any time and gets straight to work, but almost immediately falls under the influence to the mutant mind. But seeing as her workspace put her mere inches away from it, she never stood a chance. Later, Howard tries to get some work done, but is distracted by McKay's use of his in-home gym. Because he can't concentrate due to the noise, he moves to the backyard area instead. Once back inside, Howard decides to clean off his old service sidearm due to writer's block, and our mutant friend influences an encounter between the two. While cleaning off his sidearm, McKay enters the room and asks if she can hold his gun. From there, we get like our third sex scene. This movie has a lot of graphic sex scenes that I can't go over on YouTube. After Peggy gets home, she's greeted at the door by Carol, and after a short exchange ending with a very alarming facial expression by Carol, Peggy goes to have a word with Howard about his new secretary.
Hi. Who are you? Carol McKay, Mr. Dunlap's secretary.
When questioned about Carol, Howard snaps.
Howard, what's with the new edition?
You mean Carol?
It would have been nice if you would have asked me how I felt about it.
Okay. How do you feel about it?
But he isn't the only one who's been on a short fuse lately. As Peggy admitted earlier in the film during a phone call to her husband, how she had been snappy all day with her clients while at work.
Hello?
It's me.
I was hoping you'd call.
I couldn't get anything done. I was snapping at my clients all day.
Later, Murray calls Carol, and just when I started to feel sorry for the guy, he goes and pulls one of the most deceitful and underhanded moves that you can think of when he asked Carol to search Howard's things for a book he didn't want released called Thunder Over Hawaii.
Carol, it's Murray. How's it going? I need a favor to ask you. About a year ago, Howard tried his hands on a romantic novel. He hated it so much that he never showed it to anyone. It's got to be in his office somewhere. He never throws anything out. See if you can find it.
Confident that Carol will find the novel, Murray goes and meets with an interested buyer at a swanky restaurant to negotiate a price for Thunder Over Hawaii. And hey, it's Fred Olen Ray, making a cameo as their waiter. Looks kind of pissed about something, though. Maybe it's the tips?
Now, what kind of a novel are we talking about?
A romantic novel.
Romantic novel? Do I make out the check to you?
That's correct.
Upon delivery?
Upon delivery.
Gus goes to collect money from a guy that doesn't want to pay up, and you can tell from the look in his face, he's starting to feel remorseful for carrying out the more physical duties of his line of work. The loanee in this next pretty cool fight scene's name is Big Ed.
How you doing, Big Ed?
Gus starts off being civil and treats Big Ed with respect, but when Ed says he's done paying, Gus guilt trips him, then presses Ed for the money and gets insulted in return. I feel bad for both characters here, because Big Ed has had it with being taken advantage of by the Sharks, and Gus just wishes people would pay what they agreed to.
Doing fine, Gus. You?
Same old, same old.
You ain't getting any more dough out of me, Gus. I've had it with you fucking Sharks.
I mean, didn't Scott bail you out when you was in deep? Now you want me to tell the man to go fuck himself? Give me the money, Ed.
Ed's co-workers step in to help him, and by the end of the scene, they're all defeated and lying on the ground.
You know what? You can go fuck yourself too, Gus.
Gus collects the cash from Ed and makes the coolest exit after taking care of business that you'll ever see.
Check. But now he's getting out of hand, and you can surely bet he's gonna track you down. And when you finally found, he's gonna do what he do and take a bite out of you. Since we last met.
Howard seemingly comes to his senses and is about to throw out the mutant when Carol shows up with his old sidearm, and we're gifted with our 4th sex scene.
Where are you going?
I'm getting rid of that jar. And when I'm done with this book, we're going on a long vacation.
Carol actually forces Howard and Peggy at gunpoint to get it on in front of her and the mutant, and she joins them. I won't go over it here on YouTube, but if you'd like to see future uploads before they go up here on YouTube, uploads where I may go over such scenes, consider subscribing to the Patreon. Next we see Gus back at his bosses, who's pushing him to put even more pressure on Murray by threatening him with a gun. Despite Murray doing everything he can to get his hands on the money before the deadline.
You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip.
Murray isn't a turnip.
You push him too hard, he's gonna fold.
You don't push him. You walk away with nothing.
Man, I told you before, that shit's out. I'm no shooter.
And in a shocking twist, Gus shoots and kills Scott after having a change of heart and leaves to let Murray know he's off the hook. We learn that Carol has been speaking to the mutant and knows that Peggy isn't under his control, so she tries to convince Peggy to give in to its power.
I'm scared of him, Carol. He doesn't make you do anything you don't want to do.
Gus briefly stops by Murray's office and discovers where he's headed to.
How you doing? Murray at home?
I'm sorry, he's out for a meeting. Can I
Peg
help?
tries to convince her husband that they're in danger and need to leave, but soon realizes that he too is under the control of the mutant.
We have got to get out of here.
Why?
Why? Because we're in danger.
I guess I'll go take a shower.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me.
This is insane. It's got him too.
Murray shows up once again, and ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We've finally made it to this film's climax, and no, it doesn't involve another sex scene. Murray is held at gunpoint by Carol and confesses to Howard that he lost all of his money gambling.
I thought I heard your voice, Murray. What are you doing here? I'm broke? How can I be broke, Murray?
I gamble, I lose. That's all there is to it.
Howard, who's under the influence of the mutant, takes a knife from Carol and attacks Murray.
That's what you want to do, isn't it?
Come here, Murray.
They all tussle around the room some, and my man Gus shows up and hears gunfire, which is Murray being shot by Carol, which leads to a scene that reminds me of an SNL clip called Dear Sister. If you haven't seen it, please go and check it out. It's hilarious. Gus and Carol have a shootout, which leads to both of their deaths, and Peggy wakes up from being knocked unconscious by Carol and goes to check on her husband, who tries to blow her brains out.
Howard?
Okay, we'll have somebody right on the way.
Put down the phone, Peg.
Son of a bitch.
Peg goes and runs upstairs, and Howard gets smacked in the face with an iron after a game of hide-and-go-seek.
Peggy! Where are
We then get to see Howard under full possession, which reminds me of MJ at the end of Thriller.
Take her.
He brings her before the mutant so she too becomes possessed, but it doesn't go as planned because...
Take this, you son of a bitch.
What happened?
And right before the end credits roll, we see that creepy old woman again who's holding the mutant, then vanishes. really get the significance of this character. So if you've seen this one in the past, or you decide to check it out, maybe you can help me out with the meaning of this movie's ending down in the comments. I love movies from the 80s and 90s, and I'm glad I came across this one. It has romance, action, great music, great acting, and wasn't too cheesy given who the villain of the movie was. On a star scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this movie 6.5 stars. Thank you guys for viewing this video today. This was my first ever movie review. I hope you liked it, and if you did, show me by dropping a like down below, leaving a comment, possibly even subscribing to the channel. Thank you.